basically fire off a succession of rounds and take off before actually being attacked. So they were really widely used throughout the Napoleonic period, throughout Europe and Spain and Portugal, and they were especially used here during the War of 1812 in Canada and the United States. So what we actually have as a treat here is we have a crew of British gunners being watched over by a corporal, the Royal Regiment of Artillery, and that's their crew is consisting of a couple of the guys in green of the Caldwell's Western Rangers, a unit that was formed here in Essex County, as well as, let me just see what we've got here. Looks like we have a member of the Provincial Marine as well serving that gun. And the treat that we also have on the far side is our friends from Perrysburg, Ohio at Fort Meigs National Historic Site, and they're representing the 1st U.S. Artillery. And we're going to have both of these guns actually load up here and fire off for you. The first thing that they're going to be doing, though, is making sure there's nothing actually inside the barrels. There's nothing worse than loading a cannon and already having a projectile in there. So they're making sure there's nothing inside. They're cleaning them out with a couple of tools. One that you see was a large corkscrew device known as a worm, and what they're doing now is actually sponging out the piece. They're making sure there is no possibility that a spark can survive in the inside of the barrel.
Oh, yeah?
So they're cleaning that out. The thump you just heard was telling us that there's a nice vacuum in the inside, there's no oxygen in there, and therefore no sparks. So we can now introduce the charge. So you see the feller bringing up the satchel there is now going to give the charge. Typically it'd be 2 pounds of black powder, so just under a kilogram of black powder going into this machine. They load it in very carefully. This is the most dangerous part of this procedure, is actually forcing that cartridge down to the back of the breech. Ram it down, make sure it's nice and well seated in the breech. Once they get that out, they can now insert the fuse. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to take out a copper wire, puncture the canvas sack that's filled with black powder, and then insert a goose quill that's actually filled with a little bit of gunpowder. That's your fuse. So this thing, once that's done, is actually ready to fire. Now I will tell you that these things are quite loud. I would highly suggest that everybody plug your ears.
Ready, here goes. This is going to be loud, John.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the folks on the 2 6-pounders. Now take a look at this, the amount of smoke that is generated by just 2 guns. You can imagine how much smoke would be generated by, say, 10 guns, or as in the case of the Battle of Lundy's Lane, more like about 25 guns altogether between the U.S. and British artillery. Extreme amounts of smoke that is generated by it. A little bit later on, when we have the unit tactical demonstrations, you'll notice that there's also quite a lot of smoke even generated by a few muskets being fired. One of the reasons why they're wearing such brightly colored uniforms. Friendly fire is not a new concept. Well, folks, that pretty much ends our artillery demonstration. Coming up at 2:30. No, I'm sorry, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock will be our unit tactical demonstrations with the soldiers from the Roman contingent, the Flintlock era, and then moving up into the First and Second World War. Other than that, there are plenty of things happening, and there are plenty of reenactors who are more than happy to chat with you. We have a bookstore in our visitor center at the north end of the site. On the south end of the site, there are children's activities and games where they can learn the different games of the 19th century, but also they can dress up as soldiers. We of course have a world-class museum right across the way in our soldiers' barracks. Basically anybody dressed in funny clothes, talk to them. Oh, and of course, I'm sorry, I'm very remiss here. We also have a cricket game going on for anybody that is interested in getting involved. It's really easy.